Welcome to the Powerhouse Podcast. I'm Gabrielle Kane, and this show reveals what successful people do differently so you can too. We'll dig into the choices, habits, and turning points behind the results and leave you with one practical step to use each week. Good afternoon, Mathieu. Thank you so much for being my guest here on the Powerhouse Podcast. Would you like to
Well,
start by introducing yourself and letting us know what you do?
yes. Well, thank you for having me. This is fun. And yeah, my name is Mathieu, and I've been able to create or not create, but develop an architectural firm over the past 20 years. Obviously, I wasn't alone in that process, but I have amazing people with me and partners also. But other than being an architect and having a business, I'm also an investor in real estate. I do have also multiple passions about for example, motorcycles is one of my top passions, and I do travel quite a lot for fun and for work, which is good. Um, so I'm a father of two amazing daughters, and I'm now at 50 years old. So that's pretty much who I am. A very simple guy. I love life. I love simple things. So yeah, that's who I am.
Wow, it sounds like you're living the dream and a lifestyle that really makes you happy. Is this
Very
something? Sorry.
No, no, go ahead. I said very much so. It's I'm very happy with what I do. So
Oh, that sounds amazing. Did you always know that you wanted to be an architect?
no. Uh, um, I mean, it was my father who passed a few years back, but he was a contractor, and I was always um, very close to him, to see him doing his projects and all of that. And I think maybe the passion started, from there. But I was a terrible student in school, so it was difficult for me to even imagine being able to become an architect without having or with having a lot of issues in school. So I couldn't imagine it when I was younger, but here I am. So
Well, that's so surprising because I would assume that to be an architect, you have to be a good student. You have to have good grades, especially in math.
yeah.
And I can say I was never a good student. How did you work around that?
Well, let's say when I was in high school. I was studying very, very hard. I was spending a lot of hours, uh, you know, just to try to understand, the different, especially in math. But even though I was spending a lot of time studying and trying to understand, for some reason my brain, couldn't understand. I was having so much trouble in high school, and after that, going to since I'm living in province of Quebec. After high school, we go to Cégep, um, and it's more like a 2 year buffer zone before going to university to help you figure out what you want to do in life. So you have different type of courses that you can take, and I decided to go the complicated route, with the courses like physics and chemistry and all of that. And at the end, it wasn't so bad. I did okay in Cégep, but physics was easier for me than biology or chemistry. And so instead of taking me 2 years in Cégep, it took me three because I I had to redo a bunch of courses and that I failed. Um, and and I remember I went to see the people in Cégep who are helping you figure out what you want to do in life, or what's the best path you can take, to get to university, for the let's say for what you'd like to do in the future as a future job. So I remember I went and saw that person, and I did a few tests here and there to try to figure out what I like, what I don't like. And at the end, the result was like, well, maybe you can be a fireman, or maybe you can be this or that. And I say, okay, fine. But I said, what about architecture? I'd like to try architecture. And I remember, like if it was yesterday, that person told me at the time, he said, well, your grades are way too low for you to get to architecture. Forget that. And in reality, what he told me is that you're way too stupid to get to the architectural program. So I said, well, okay. So I was a bit discouraged at that time. But I knew there was something, with architecture that I wanted to explore. So I said, what the hell? I'll take my chances. So I did apply in different universities. Unfortunately, I've been rejected on all of them except one, which is Laval University, and not for the architectural program, but for the certificate. So they told me, okay, you're okay for the certificate, but for the full program, you're on the wait list, and you're like number 272. So I say, okay, well, how many people are supposed to get in the program? And they were accepting only 97 people. So I said, okay, number 272, chances are very low. So I said, okay, I'll start with the certificate and go from there. So the day I had to show up at the university, um, you know, to be able to proceed with the, I'm sorry, I'm looking for the words, but in French we say les inscriptions. Um, so um, I said, okay, I'll show up. And as I was there for the certificate, the lady working at the counter told me, you know what? You're still on the waiting list for the full program, but you're number 10 on the list now instead of
Wow.
272. So I said, oh, wow, that's amazing. And then she said, but the downside is that you have to at least 10 people won't show up, and then we have to call the people on the waiting list. So I said, okay, I'll wait. So that day, I waited until the office was closed. That lady came back to me and said, I have a good and a bad news. The good news is that you're 10 on the list, but we only have 9 no show. So I said, geez, it's so
Oh, my
close.
heart's breaking.
It's so close. So she said, we'll do phone calls, and we'll see if all of them will accept or not. And so just wait here and I'll come back. So after about an hour, she came back and she said, okay, we have 8 people who said yes. The 9th person, we cannot get a hold of him. So we have until, I think they had an hour and a half to do all the phone calls, and the person had to be by their phone in order to accept or not the invitation to the university. So she said, I still have about half an hour to go, so we'll wait. I said, okay, we'll wait. What can I do? And so after half an hour, she came back. She said, unfortunately, we cannot get hold of that person. So if you're still interested, you're the one able to get in. So I said, wow, that's amazing. So I
Uh-huh.
said, for sure I'm in. So yeah, so that's how I've been able to get to university in the full program. And it was a 4-year program at the time. It has changed since, but at the time it was a 4-year program. And honestly, those 4 years were the easiest of my life. You know, it's for sure I was at the right place, and it was 4 amazing years. I didn't have to study or feel feel like crazy about it, because if I what I mean by that is, in high school it was so difficult and it was very hard for me to understand and concentrate, and I had to put so many hours that I didn't have to do in university. It was simple. I understood uh, everything. It was for me. It was very easy, and it is a very difficult program, and but it was at the end very positive. So that's how I became. Uh, well, not quite, because when you get you get by the end, if you get your diploma, you're not officially architect. You have to spend hours and hours in offices before you're able to get to the exams. And the program at the time was very difficult because it was a North American program, so I had to do, if I recall, 11 exams before I'm able to get the title. So, but I went through this and with success, and so that's how I became architect, and yeah, and got my title. So on the overall, when I got to university, and by the time I got my title, it took me about 11 years.
Oh,
So
wow. 11 years. But
yes,
worth it because you're fueling your passion, you're doing what you love and you're living the life that you wanted to live. So putting
exactly.
in that time and effort. How did you feel when you were going through that application process? And it just seemed like one thing after the, like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the good grades. I'm 272 on the list. Like, it just seems like if I put myself in your position, it's almost like I'm missing the mark every single time. How do you push through the negativity and people constantly telling
Hmm.
you no for whatever reason?
It's a very good question. Honestly, if in life, if we change our mind, or we stop at every single hurdle that we hit, it's going to be very difficult. And in order to achieve or get to your goals, uh, you have to think differently. I mean, you have to keep that positive attitude, that you have to believe in yourself and say, no, I know I can. So it's not because someone or a specific event is telling me or telling you otherwise. You have to believe in yourself. And that's what I did. I said, no, it's not because someone told me in Cégep I was too stupid to become an architect. Who is he to tell me that? So I believed in myself, and I kept pushing and trying. And 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 honestly, by the time I went through all of this, and been able to get to the program, that's when I realized, I I knew what I wanted, and I know I'm able to. So, and that's where I changed my mind about a lot of things in life. And I said, you have to believe in yourself. So, but yes, it's been tough to get through that because you're right. It was tough. And, it's never fun when someone tells you that you're too dumb or stupid to do something, when in reality is that person doesn't even know you. So you have to you have to believe in yourself. That's for sure.
Wow. Well, I'm really happy that you did because if had you listened to that stranger who didn't know you and just looked at you on a piece of paper and made a decision, you could be doing something else totally different right now.
That's for sure. Yep, you're right. You're right. The path would have been completely different.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
good for, yeah. I mean, I remember how many times I've gone through life and I wanted to pursue this avenue or the next. And then whoever it was who didn't know me just said, yeah, you can't do it. You don't have the qualifications, or you're not tall enough, or you don't have, you're just not good enough for whatever reason. And it hurt because
Of
it
course.
it's your passion, and I take that personally because to me that's personal. And then I didn't end up going down those paths for whatever reason. So um I'm glad that you persevered and you pushed through it.
Hmm.
um so okay, so now let's play this back. You went through high school, you went through CEGEP, you went through university. Now you finished university, and you said the university course was how many years?
4 years.
4 years. So
Yep.
then you did a total of 11 before you were actually qualified and you wrote all your exams. That's correct?
That's correct. Starting from, well, I started university in 95. I graduated in 99. And then by the time I got my title as an architect, it was in 2006. So from 95 to 2006, so 11 years.
So what did you do between 95 and 2006 in order to accomplish your goals?
Um, wow, lots of things. I had, first of all, finishing university, I had to find a job. And in order to achieve and get the title um, as a professional, but I had to find a job in a period where construction was quite slow. So it's been difficult for me to be able to find this first job in an office. Um, I was lucky enough to have a father who knew a lot of people in the field, and he was able to help me find a job in an architectural office in the Eastern Township. And I remember that first job. I my wage was 11.20 per hour, and I had to provide my own computer, so which is crazy. So, but that was my first job, and I was very happy about it. And I learned quite a lot because there's quite a difference uh, between university and the real world. So let's say I had to put a lot of hours, in order to get to speed, let's say. Um, so I really, really enjoyed doing that with that firm, and but my skills were limited, and I had to move on to other um, how can I say, to other offices or bigger offices in order for me to learn even more. Um, and that's what I did. That's what I did. And I moved from the Eastern Township to the Ottawa area, and that was around 2000, end of 99, beginning of 2000. So I was lucky enough to find a job in Ottawa. And funny fact is that when I tried to get that employment in private sector in Ottawa, the firm. Well, first of all, I sent my resumes to multiple offices, and the reason why I was aiming for Ottawa is because my girlfriend at the time moved in Ottawa for work. So that's why I wanted to join her. So I sent my resumes in multiple offices, and the first office, who called me said, "Okay, I would like to see you for an interview." So okay, fine, that's great. So I showed up to the interview, and I spent maybe an hour in that in that interview. And the thing is, I didn't speak a word of English at the time. So, and I showed up to that office, um, stating on my resume that I was okay in English, but let's be honest, I struggle today, but at the time it was painful. Let's say my English was terrible. So I showed up to the interview, and the two the couple, they were in couple in life, but also the business partners in that firm. uh, One of them was only English speaking, and the other one was a French speaking. So they noticed that my English wasn't great. So we did the interview mostly in French, but at the end of the day, they decided not to hire me because there was another guy doing an interview also, and this guy had a 1 year more of experience. He was better in English, so he was it was logical, that they would hire that person. And the fun fact is that that person that I was, competing against, is one of my partners today in my firm. So which is kind of fun.
Oh, I love that story.
Yep.
Let's pause for one moment.
Yes.
Your microphone seems to be hitting the zipper on your
Oh, I'm
sweater.
sorry.
That's okay. It's just messing with the audio a little bit.
Okay. So here's what I'll do. I'll take it off. It will be easier.
Sorry about that, but thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry that I had to get you
No,
to
no,
take your
no,
sweater
no.
off.
No worries.
Okay, so back to your partner. So I love the fun fact how it makes sense to hire the guy with more experience, and now you guys work together. So once again, another rejection. You're trying, and obviously, I mean, who is really 100% honest on their resume, right? I mean, you have to push the envelope a little bit so that you can gain those skills so that you can do that job. So, I mean, we're all guilty of that. I don't see it as a bad thing.
Yeah.
But you had to face another rejection. What happened next? What did you do with that?
Honestly, as I said earlier, I'm a person that I'm very confident. I know about myself, and I know about my capabilities. And I at the time I said, okay, no worries, I'll try again, or I'll try with another office, or and that's what I did. Sent resumes again and again and again, and one day I got a call and saying, and lucky enough, it was the same office who called me back and said, "Are you interested to join us? We have another position available. Would you like to join us?" I said, "Yes, absolutely." And and so I accepted the job. So I moved to Ottawa, as I said, around 99, end of 99, beginning of 2000. And I've stayed in the area of Ottawa-Gatineau ever since. And that office, I spent very, very good years with them. I've learned a lot. They were very nice to me, and I've been able to get a lot of confidence before being able to do my exams and get my official title as an architect. So they were very helpful during that period, and yeah, so I've learned a lot, made a lot of good friends, and after that, I had to complete, let's say, my experience, because for me to get to those exams and know my profession inside out for the exams, well, I had to multiple my experiences. So I went to another office, and yeah, and it brought me up to 2006 when I did the exam. I passed it, and yeah, here I am. So
Wow. And you also had to learn a new language.
yes, absolutely. which yeah, which was quite tough, to be honest, when you because when you're trying to speaking is a thing, but doing technical documents in a language that you do not that you're not familiar with, it's something else, so
I would imagine so. I spent a little bit of time in Quebec when I was little. I think it was grade one, and I had only ever spoken English my entire life. And my parents decided to put me in French immersion. And I thought it was the cruelest thing anyone could do to a child. But to this day, I remember everything that I learned in grade one. Well, almost everything. I think I can count to 100 pretty close. And I know all my farm animals, so we're pretty good there. But then they never followed it up afterward because then we moved from Quebec and went to other places that were all English speaking and
Mhm.
then never had to use it. So learning that language is really hard. How did you learn English? I think you speak very well. I understand everything you're saying. You know how to articulate your thoughts and get your message across. Did you take a class? Did you do an app?
I did not. I learned, um, through my different years through work, but I still I think my English is not bad, but I still have issues finding the proper words in order to express myself adequately. But still, I think I've learned just enough to be able to express myself. Let's say, but no course, no app, no nothing. Just most of the time, just speaking with friends. It really helped. So yeah, but those 4 years, the first 4 years working for that firm in Ottawa was kind of tough because one of my boss was a very good architect, and but um, but let's say he didn't have much understanding to the fact that I didn't speak the language. So he was a bit tough on me, but it I guess it helped me learn. So
I guess so. Yeah,
yep,
sometimes that can be hard when someone just seems to pick on you or single you out for whatever reason,
yeah,
but it makes you work that much harder. So I guess it kind of balances things out a little bit.
I agree. Yeah,
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you persevered because now we can have this conversation and among all the other ones that we've had. Uh,
absolutely.
when it comes to, so you worked there for several years, would it be safe to say that you learned English predominantly by working at that office?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
for sure. Yep.
Okay, so you put yourself in a situation where you had no choice and you just did it. So here you are persevering again, yet again another obstacle, yet again another hurdle to jump over, and you smashed it out of the park. You did a great job. You were there for a few years. And then you wrote your exams and you passed them.
That's right.
And then what did you do? Now you've opened all these doors for yourself. What do you do?
Yes. Well, at that time when I passed the exam, I was working as a project manager for a management firm, and I was hiring offices, professionals, architectural offices to do different type of projects, um, and and at the time, I, I I have to admit I was not very satisfied of the service I was getting, and I said I cannot imagine that those people are able to be that successful. Where to me, I thought they weren't great. I won't name the firms, but um, but I was not impressed at all. And that's where I told myself, well, you know what? If they're doing well, well, I'm going to do great if I decide to start my own office. And that's where the idea started. So I kicked myself and said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. And I was able to meet, through those those years, I was able to meet. I've been able to meet a lot of people, and one of them, which is still one of my partners today, and I'll name him Jean Daniel. When I met Jean Daniel, he's he's the first person where we did click a lot, and Jean Daniel was working for another firm at the time, and he was in a situation where he was considering doing something different. So I said to JD, I said, why don't we go for lunch and let's talk about our future. So we did, and we talked about maybe opening an architectural firm, and and he was there in his mind, he was ready for it, and I was ready for it, and I said, why don't we join our efforts and do something? He said, okay, let's do it. So, and that's how we decided to open our firm. And honestly, it was something. I was jumping in a world that I didn't know, and it was quite the surprise.
Well, I was just gonna say, oh my goodness, I love how you summarize it and you guys go for lunch and you have an idea and you talk about it and you're like, okay, let's do it. You make it sound so simple. Like, let's just do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know where to begin when it comes to that. I have ideas and I say, hey, let's go for lunch and we have a good chat. But then this is a pivotal moment in your career, in my opinion. Being an
Yes.
outsider looking in, this is a pivotal moment at lunch, and you probably didn't realize it at the time that that's where everything changes. So there are so many people out in the world that have these ideas and they go for lunch, and they have the conversation and they're like, oh my God, I love this idea, let's do this, and then it just drops off from there. So what
Yep.
separates you from all the other people with those amazing ideas that are still in their mind? How did you bring that to fruition and bring it to life?
um, I think same answer as at the beginning. I think I believed in myself, and I said, let's do it. Let's do it. And let's try. I don't even know how to open a business. I don't even know how to manage, the taxes and all of that. I don't know. But we'll find the people who will be able to help us. And that's what we did. And at the beginning, Jean Daniel, he's a guy who he had a lot of contacts. So for him to go out there meeting people, get contract, he was very good at it, and never did that in my life. So where do I start? Well, he was there to do that part. But on the other hand, I was the one doing the designs, the drawings, the specifications, the site supervision. I was doing that part while he was busy finding work. But I believe in myself. I believe in ourselves because we did work very, very hard again at the beginning, but we just jumped on it and said, let's do it. Let's do it. It's a good idea. And I was there in my life and was ready for it. And I believed in myself.
Wow. So did you work at the firm and start your own business at the same time?
Nope. I decided because I'm how can I say that? I'm a very, very respectful person. I would never be able to do that. Let's say start a company and having another job and not being able to be 100% in my job. So I would never be able to do that. So I took the decision when we were ready to start the firm. I said, we'll do it, but I have to stop the other employment and be 100% in that new business.
Wow.
So
And Jean Daniel was on the same page as you and he left too?
exactly the same thing.
So,
So
okay. So, but I'm so many questions. How do you pay your bills? How do you survive when you quit your job and you're like, okay, I'm going to start from scratch? Is that too personal? I don't know.
no. It's a good question. Well, I was lucky enough that through the different years that you know starting from university, I was able to put a little bit of money aside, to have enough confidence to say, okay, well, what if I don't have any contract for the next 6 months? Am I okay to survive? Let's say. So I said the answer was yes. I'll be okay. I might not have food on the table 3 times a day, but I'll try. So and that's what I did. And uh, but but honestly, it went very, very well because both of us, Jean and I, at the beginning, were very hard worker. We don't count our hours, and we've been from day one. We've been lucky enough to be very successful from day one. So it went uphill from day one. So it's so yeah. It even though even though Jean Daniel had a lot of contracts were coming in, but lucky enough they were coming in faster than what I was able to do to do the work, in fact. So it was piling up, and that's where we had to hire people to help us out, technologists and more and more people. So it was very positive, from day one.
Wow, that's incredible. That's I guess incredible. I don't know what else to say
Yeah.
about that because I mean, you start something new, you you start off not being good enough, not being smart enough to starting your own business and not even knowing how to start a business. Probably wondering, do I do a sole proprietorship? Do I do a corporation? What are those things?
Yes.
To having an influx of business come in all these contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to say that there's pairing up and not doing everything on your own, but having the right person in the right seat
Mm-hmm.
has really played a very important role in your business because you can't do all that yourself. You can't go out and find the business because that's not your forte. Your forte is you know having these contracts and building what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And then your business partner is the one that retrieves it. He's the front of the funnel, and then you execute the plan. And then you get so busy, you wouldn't have been able to expand if you didn't hire more people, because it just would have been too much for you guys to do.
That's true. That's true. You're absolutely right. And I think what you just said, having the key people or the proper people or the best people in place for what you need to do, I think is key. Um, I don't know everything. My partners don't know everything, but there are people out there that know how to do it, and but you just have to find those people, and that's how we've been able to let's say get bigger and bigger with our firm, not just because it's fun to be a bigger firm. It's just that at some point you have to have competent people and people around you that know how to do things that you don't know how to do, and
Yeah.
it makes a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, your clients come to you because you're so good at what you do. So if you have the wrong person in the wrong seat, then you don't have that business coming in, and that's the beginning of the end. That's the way I see it.
That's exactly it, and probably this is why it's been successful since day one, because of the quality of the service that we were able to provide to our clients. I think it makes a big difference.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Okay. So let's pick this up. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued so much by your journey. Wow. Okay. So you start hiring employees. You need, I'm guessing you found a facility. Did you have to work out of your house, out of your garage, or did you get
Oh,
an office?
that's a very good question. Yeah, through this process, which was very positive, unfortunately, at the same time, I was going through a divorce. So, so, so when I started the office with JD, I was also going through that divorce. So when we decided to jump and start this firm, well, as we mentioned, where do you start? Or where do you even establish your office? Where are you going to be able to work? Well, at the time, since I was going through that divorce, my office was in the basement of my house, and in order to avoid any conflict um, with the with my ex, well, we've established a schedule that I was allowed to be in the house because I was starting the office from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4:30 p.m. The rest of the time I had to be out of the house. So because I was selling my part of or my half of the house, we had a very good relationship. But when you're no longer together, it's being together on a regular basis during the day. It's not always easy, let's say. So that's the agreement we had. I respected that, and that's fine. So my office was in the basement of the house. Johnny and I were working in there, but I had to find an apartment. So I found an apartment. So at maybe a few weeks after, I decided to move our stuff out of the basement to my apartment. So we were running the office from, and it's funny. Sorry, I have so many good memories about that, but
Here I am
yeah.
thinking this is a crazy obstacle. I did not see this coming. And here you are laughing. Please keep going. You've got me sitting on the edge of my seat.
uh, so we moved everything in my apartment, and the apartment turned out to be the office. So so the master bedroom, because at that time we had to hire more people because it was we were very busy and it was a hard time to meet our schedule. So I had to hire more people. So I had to hire two technologists. The technologists were their office was in the master bedroom. So I had to do a setup, with desks and all of that, and the printers and in the master bedroom. And the other smaller bedroom was basically my bedroom slash my office. So
Wow.
yeah, I know it's crazy. And the let's say our the living room was almost the only private area I had in the apartment, because the kitchen was the kitchenette for everyone. And the dining table was our conference room. So, so having our different meetings, and at the time we didn't have Teams or Zoom, or so it was an in-person meetings. So having engineers and people coming over to the apartment, and it was just crazy. And it went on for, I don't know, maybe 6, maybe up to 8 months in the apartment. And after 8 months, we were 8 people in the apartment, working in the apartment. So
Wow. I can imagine how those interviews go. Did you interview people in your apartment?
I did. I did.
Okay. So what kind of just off topic a little bit, how what kind of response did you get when you have these professionals come into your apartment and to do, tech and everything, and you're like, yeah, this is the office and where you're going to come to every day?
Everyone was laughing. Honestly, they thought it was really funny because we were able to do the work, you know, nicely. And they said, okay, these guys are very good at what they do, but they work out in an apartment. So so it's kind of strange, I have to admit. And the other funny thing, this is why I was laughing, because I'm not a morning person. So so but my staff, most of them were. So they arrived at the apartment like at 7, sometimes 6:30 in the morning. I was still sleeping, and waking up around 7:30, going for a shower. But most people are in the apartment already working. So me walking around with a towel around my waist, it ridiculous. So
Wow.
yeah.
Good thing you didn't have HR.
No, exactly. But it lasted about 8 months, and it was just crazy. So we had to move. So I kept the apartment for myself. And we found a proper space. But now, at that time, after several months, if not years of operation, then we had more income, and we were able to be able to rent a place and have a proper office. And so that's when we decided to move. And so we moved in that office. And then the expansion was insane. Also, we went from, I think, from 8 to maybe 20 something people in a very short period of time. And in 2010, that's where we had so much work, we needed more architect part of the firm to help us out. And that's where I reached out to one of my good buddy, the one who took the job in the interview that I didn't get in Ottawa the first time. So I called him and I said, Christian, are you interested to join us in the office? So he said, let me think about it. And it took him, a very few days, to think about it, and said, what, Matt, I'm in. I'm gonna join you guys. So he joined us, and then the company went exploded basically. So we were very very lucky for that matter. And then I had two more partners that joined us later on. Annie, she joined us in 2012, And then our latest partner, Yan, joined us in 2021. And that's where we're at, that, right now. So yeah, it was quite the journey. The apartment period was quite something.
That's incredible. I'm so glad I asked you that question because, in all honesty, I had no idea about what was going on there. I'm just asking out of curiosity. All these ideas pop in my head, and I'm like, oh man, give me more detail. Wow. Okay. So you move out of the apartment and you get a victory moment. I'm so happy for you. You get this big office space, enough to fit all your printers and all your employees, and you get your personal space back because I'm not a
That's
morning
right.
person either. So it makes a world of difference to wake up at my own pace and do me. I can't imagine waking up to people walking around my apartment and just, oh, work's going on. I need to get out of bed. So you must have
Oh.
had long days then to get started. I mean, when you quit your job working at the office for someone else, and then you start your own job, I mean, your own office, your own business, I guess.
Hmm.
You must have worked really long days, I would imagine.
Yes, yes. The first few years, well, let's say the first, I would say 5 to 7 years, I had to put at least 70, if not 80 hours a week. It was crazy. It
Wow.
was 12, between 12 and 16 hours a day, 7 days. It was crazy. Yeah.
And sorry, how long did you do that for?
For about 7 years. Yeah. So
But hey, I mean, but when you're doing something that you love, does it feel like you're working?
not
Does
at
it
all.
feel really exhausting?
Not at all. And I think that's the big difference. When you do something that you really, really like, you don't count your hours. And let's be honest, I met someone through those years that I'm still with today. She's an amazing person, by the way. And so I didn't have my daughters at the time, so putting those hours was not that complicated, to be honest. It felt just what I had to do, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I was traveling here and there throughout the year, has a break, but the rest of the time it was 7 days a week. I really enjoyed doing it.
Wow.
So
Does that cause complications in your relationship when you have to work 80 hours a week, 7 days a week? That's
um,
crazy.
well, maybe, let's say I go back one step. Maybe when I had that divorce, I was putting a lot of hours studying for the exams, you know, on top of working a lot also, even though it wasn't for my own firm, but I was working for someone. But I always been very serious in what I do. So I was putting a lot of hours and studying as well. So maybe part of it um, is responsible for my divorce at the time. But uh, but after that, when I started the company, uh, I met my girlfriend, which I'm still with, and who is the mother of my two daughters. Um, and she was very, um, she did understand. So she knew that I had to put a lot of effort to make sure I was able to succeed with the company. And today it's nowhere near. I don't have to put as many hours as I did, at the beginning. So because now I have a lot of people, as I said, who are even better than me on multiple things. So it simplifies my world, let's say, simplifies my work. And it's the same thing for my partners today, because they did work a lot also, but now we've been able to reach um, a very good balance between work and family. So
Wow. Well, that takes a lot though to acknowledge that. And hindsight's 2020. You don't realize it at the time. You want to be better. You want to be the best version of yourself that you can be. You want to offer the services that your clients deserve. And especially when we're working in the field and you see these things firsthand, being in the roles that you're in, you're dealing with other companies, you're dealing with the services that they offer and seeing them fall short. You're experiencing that frustration firsthand and saying, oh, dude, I can see a better way to do this. I can improve
mm-hmm,
this and I can make life so much better. And having someone, I think that that's key as well. You really touched on a really good point there is having someone who understands that and respects it
mm-hmm,
and setting that expectation as well. Because if it's something where you kind of fall into it and it's like you could feel, falling apart or being pulled apart, then, it's like, oh, great, I wasn't expecting this. I didn't see it coming. But maybe the second time around, it's like, okay, we need to set these expectations because now I know.
yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong on this, but maybe you didn't realize how many hours you had to put in to be successful and to get that done. Maybe it surprised you just as much as it did her.
Oh, that's for sure. And or maybe it was the way I was doing things. Maybe I was putting too many hours for no reasons, but that's who I am. I am very conscious about what I do. I want to make sure things are done the right way, and I'm always and very respectful of the people that I deal with or work with or my clients. So I think they deserve the best, and that's what I wanted to do. You know.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you've come to that realization that you didn't have to do those hours for forever. I mean, 7 years is a long time. It does sound exhausting,
It
but
is
I
a
mean,
Yeah, it is a long time, but it was worth it. Honestly,
yeah,
if I had to do it again, I would do it in a heartbeat. It's
absolutely.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
worth
And
doing it.
not having kids, I think, is another big thing because they demand so much of your time. They have so many needs. And
Yes.
so being able to dedicate your time to build your empire, so to speak,
Hmm.
so that way you have a strong foundation and then you can spend the quality time with your family.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And every time I talk to you, and not every time, but often, you're like, "Oh, I'm flying out to this place. I'm in Nicaragua. I'm in another oh, but I'm coming home." You're always traveling, and I love that for you. That is so exciting. You must have so many exciting places that you go and you visit for your downtime and your quality family time.
Hmm.
What are your inspirations when it comes to design and architecture? Do you travel any places that spark your artistic side?
I like that you bring this up. I'm very well. First of all, I think traveling not only is good for my, let's say, creativity, but also as a person, and learning from different ways of life. Other in different countries. I think you learn a lot by that, and being able also at the same time to how can I say, maybe fill your bag with ideas that you see around the world. I think
Hmm.
it's a big plus. And the downside of those 7 years, let's say at the beginning, where we were working quite a lot, I was not able to travel, as much as I wanted to. Um, so I said, well, why don't we try to find a way to be able to work and travel at the same time? So it took me a while, but I've been able to develop relationships with specific clients, where now I am able to do both, to travel for work. So by traveling for work, I feel that that personal, let's say, that personal experience that I'm looking for through travel, when I travel. But also I do fun projects, overseas, which is kind of cool. And so far, I've been able to I've been able to do projects and leave my mark, if I can say, in 9 countries other than Canada at the moment. So, which is kind of cool. I'm very, very happy about
You are very, very humble about that. 9 different countries. Okay, so what are these? Are these custom buildings, custom homes? Are they commercial buildings? What are you
that.
doing in these other countries?
Yeah, they're mostly not institutional, but they're mostly office slash official international buildings. What I mean by that is most of them are for the federal government, and I've been able to be able to do um, Canadian embassies. I've been able to do modifications to buildings, upgrades, security upgrades. I've been able to do also competition, architectural competition in different countries such as Haiti or in also in South Africa. Yeah, so that's what I did.
Wow, I would love to see your portfolio.
Yeah,
That
the
sounds amazing.
the latest one I just finished about maybe 6 or 7 months ago is the new embassy in Hanoi. So,
Sorry, you cut out. Can you say that again? Where was it?
so it was in Hanoi, Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it's fun. It's fun. I'm
You
very
haven't.
fortunate to be able to do
Oh my goodness. Okay, so hang on. We just got to take inventory for a second. You're working for someone else. You're too stupid to be accepted into university. And now you run your own firm. You've got a total of 5 partners in running this firm, and you are building Canadian embassies. You're building, you've got what, 10 different countries, including Canada,
that. Yep.
where you build these amazing establishments and add-ons.
Yep.
So can you, oh, man, I am so glad that you didn't listen to anyone. That's the thing. People are so quick to judge. People are so quick to put you down and say you can't do it for whatever reason. But you can because you believed in yourself. And look at this. Like I can see, we're on Zoom and it looks like you're home today.
Hmm.
Um, did you get to design and build your own house?
I did. I did. Yes.
Is this your dream house?
Well, at the time, yes, for sure. Today, it's been 14 years now since I have when we built the house. I would probably change a few things in there now that our daughters are getting bigger, and maybe maybe it would be an advantage for them to have because it's a huge open space, and the the concept of the house is basically the kitchen. The kitchen is the heart of the house, and in our all in our Canadian homes, every time we have friends over or family and all of that, we always end up being in the kitchen, for some reason. So the house, the kitchen is right in the middle of the house, and it's a huge open space. I have an island of about 15 feet long, and when we have people over, everyone gathers around the island, and that's where we enjoy being with our friends and family. So that's the concept of the house. But I'm sure my daughters would appreciate, other than their bedroom, having more quiet spaces where they can always go in the basement, and but having maybe a more closed space. I'm sure they would like that today, but yeah. So the house is very friendly, and what we tried to do is to bring the exterior of the house inside the house. What I mean by that is I have gigantic windows at the front and at the back of the house. So we feel like we're outside, basically, which is very, very interesting. A lot of sunlight. I see the squirrels running outside as they were inside the house. So yeah, we have gigantic windows, and it's we really enjoy that because we feel that even though we're inside, we feel like we're always connected with the outside of the house, which is nice, to be honest.
That sounds so wonderful. Is it those? Okay, so I have this guilty pleasure of watching custom built home shows on TV, and I get such a dopamine rush from watching them. And a big common, I think, feature in these houses is the indoor outdoor living and making
Mm-hmm.
it seamless. So they have these giant sliding doors or windows that they just open, and then it's all one big space.
Yes,
So is it like that?
it is like that.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yes. So
Lots of wonderful ideas. Yeah, I like the European courtyard as well, how you can have the house, but then right in the center, the hub there is the
mhm,
courtyard. And then everything opens to the courtyard. I think that's a really good idea too.
yes.
Goodness. So you said that if you could make changes, you might make a couple small changes. What would that be?
Um, Again, maybe probably have maybe closed spaces, closed like I have a closed office, but it's tiny workspace. But I would, because also on the acoustic, having a one big space. When someone I don't know listens to the TV and you're let's say in the dining room trying to for my daughters, to trying to study, well, it's not the best, to be honest.
Oh,
So
okay. The echo, right?
yes.
Okay. Well, I can understand that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Are there, okay, one more stupid question. Do you have any, hidden spaces or trapdoors? I know a lot of people love to put those in there.
Yeah, I no, unfortunately. I wish I did, but I didn't plan for it. Um, it at the time I thought about it. I thought maybe doing a hidden wine cellar somewhere, but I went for the budget, to be honest. So I said, well, let's cut this and let's cut that and let's keep it simple. So
Smart man.
yeah.
All right. Okay. So there's something that you mentioned before that I'd like to go back on. You said that you own your own firm, you do
Yes.
architecture, but you also you invest in real estate.
Yes.
So what got you into this? I mean, where does this come from?
Mm-hmm. Um, I think the idea of starting investing in real estate is the fact that I was able to help a lot of my clients to develop their own building and make money out of it by renting the apartments or just the increased value of the property, that kind of stuff. So that's where I decided, well, I'd like to do it for myself as well. So I said, okay, fine. So that's where I decided to invest in real estate. So I had to buy a first property to begin with. To also, it's one thing to design and do the construction of it, but it's another thing to manage it. So I had to learn the skills before, and also I had to educate myself through different programs, and I had to learn also how to manage and make sure And in fact, that's where we met the first time. Gabrielle and I. So so I had to learn that curve first, and after that, I decided that there was different options for me in terms of investment. Real estate doesn't necessarily mean investing in new construction or existing building. There's a lot of options. Um, so I decided to vary the different type of investment I was able to get in. Um, but um, but I really enjoyed, uh, and I still do, um, into buildings, is I think investing in buildings, multi-residential unit, commercial building is, I like doing that because I also, um, I'm a people person. So I like, uh, I like meeting the people when I do an investment, having the people inside my building who rent my apartments. I like the contact with those person. I like to know them. I like to a certain extent, because what I mean by that is, I've been able to invest in quite a few buildings. So I'm at a point that I cannot meet everyone, and I need help to manage those buildings. So I don't I don't have that contact with every single people and person anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's why I wanted to start investing, because I knew how to do it, basically, through my work.
Okay, so you educated yourself on it. You took courses and you got yourself a coach. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Oh, okay. And then if I understand you correctly, when you say that you like to meet the people, I'm guessing, did you mean that you're building relationships with your tenants or
I
property management?
uh, at the beginning it was with the tenants.
Hmm.
I like knowing who's renting my apartments. I like to know their story, not just because on the secure side of things, but it's just because I like, the people that I meet. So I was doing it myself for a while, you know um, meeting all the tenants and all of that. But again, now that I'm not just alone in my different investment, I have business partners also. So now we have multiple doors, so I cannot manage everything myself.
Hmm.
So now the managers are taking care of that. But that's what got me into real estate investment also, because for me, it was important to know the people that were going to rent my apartment, and some of them ended up being friends also. So yeah.
You're a very personable person, and I can see how you like to build relationships with those around you.
Mm-hmm.
You're very easy to talk to, very easy to get to know. What was your first income property that you purchased?
um the first income property is was a commercial building. Remember when I told you, when I opened up my office after the apartment, I went into a commercial space that we were renting. So after a few years, because our firm was much bigger, we didn't have enough space. So we decided, instead of renting, we decided to buy a commercial property. So
That's a boss move right there. Oh,
so
all right.
that's what we did. And we it's a two-story commercial building. Now we have the second floor. Our firm is using the entire space on the second floor, and I have a tenant on the ground floor. And because of that situation of having a tenant in the building, And for us to have part of it, what it wasn't as stressful as I thought it would have been, because the income by having a tenant was very, let's say, helpful in order to pay the mortgage. So, but that was the first building, and afterward, well, we've been able to get equity on the building, and with that equity, we've been able to reinvest in, you know, for other buildings. So we bought a duplex, and then um, we bought land. We bought after that a 26 unit apartment building, and then it went on, you know, because we were able to build equity on those properties.
So what
So
did you buy the land for? Was it just raw land, untouched?
it's raw land. That one I purchased it personally, and it's raw land. I've been trying to develop that piece of property for the past 12 years. So I'm having issues with the city. Again, it's a land, it's not in the Ottawa Gatineau area, it's in the Eastern Township. Um, I'm um, I'm trying to push in order to develop that land. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that 2026, 2027 will be a good year for me to develop that property. But right now, what's being planned on that property is seven 8 unit um, apartment buildings. So 7 times 8.
Oh, okay. And when you say develop, do you mean divide the property, the land, or
I mean, by developing, I mean building those building you know, on the property itself.
okay. And did you design those?
I did. Yes, I did.
Wow. So when you purchase these properties, are they all close to, you know, your home, or do you have other properties across the country or in other countries?
I most of them are close to my home. The land I'm referring to is about 3 to 4 hour drive from my home. Um, I tried to do investments elsewhere in Canada. Um, I I didn't find the right deal, let's say, in order to invest. I did look. I was interested in different locations, but it was the deal wasn't right. The numbers didn't make sense, so I decided not to pursue those purchases. But yeah, and instead I did invest in different limited partnership investment, so LPs, where those LPs have, let's say, properties in different location throughout Canada. So it's a different way of investing, let's say, in real estate.
So you'd be essentially like a money partner, a financial partner, where you assist in funding the deal and someone else puts the deal together and does all the hard work, correct?
That's exactly it.
Okay. And I'm glad that you said something about when the numbers don't work. That is a really, really important thing when it comes to real estate investing is running those numbers. Have you ever found that your emotions ever get in the way of a business decision, or do you ever struggle with that?
I did at the beginning, honestly, because you always feel that, oh my God, it's so much money and I'm taking a risk. But you know, when your methodology is right and you understand um, how to invest, and you understand the principles, well, your emotion are no longer in the way. It's just a logical way of doing things, and if the numbers make sense, why not? Why not? It's simple math. in my mind. So
Oh, okay. So when you were building the home that you're in now, you
mhm.
said that you had to cut things. Was it difficult to separate your emotions from something so personal?
um, that's a good point. That was much more difficult for sure, because that's the place that we're living in. So um, for sure, a house is an investment, but but at the end of the day, you have to stay realistic on your capabilities in terms of money. So we had ideas for our house. We had those those ideas on the table, but at some point we were willing to invest so much money in the house, so we had to make choices. So even though sometimes it's difficult to choose between one or the other, uh, but you have to make that choice at some point. So
Yeah.
so you have to find a way to leave the emotions aside, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a really good point. I think knowing so many real estate investors myself, it's so easy, even if it's not your primary residence and it's an investment, some people can get carried away with the little things and think, oh, well, it's just a nice tap or it's just a nice light fixture or, what have you. And then next thing you know, you blow the budget
Mm-hmm.
and you're running in the negative. Now, this is no longer an income property. It's something that's taking money from your pocket. It's doing the opposite of its intention. So, how do you keep yourself on track with a budget, whether it's your primary residence or if it's an income property? How do you
Mm-hmm.
keep yourself in line, keep yourself in check on those types of things?
Um, well, for sure, uh, you need a very good system at the beginning to understand how much money you're investing, what's the revenue, what's the potential increase of value of that property, and and personally, I'm doing it monthly, where I double check to make sure I'm still on track. So every month now we have managers taking care of the different properties that we have, but monthly we get updates to make sure we're on track, the numbers still work, because we can get, our planning can allow for a certain percentage of vacancies in the apartment building. So if we're over that percentage, then the numbers don't work. So how do you mitigate that situation? So you need a plan. So every month we're doing we're doing a follow up with our managers to make sure the numbers still make sense, and that's pretty much how I do it. I keep it very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you need to do a proper follow up, I think.
So once again, you have the right people in the right seats to manage it, to look at the numbers, and to do an assessment on a monthly basis and report to you.
Yes, and honestly, they do it much better than I can do it. So it makes sense.
Wow, good for you. I like that. I like that you're keeping on top of things and it's a monthly thing. Some people don't do it at all, and some people do it on a quarterly basis, but I can see that how monthly is beneficial. I mean, especially with the market changing and fluctuating as it does, as bank interest rates change all the time. I mean, I have to check my statements for my, lines of credit just to see because the interest rates fluctuate so much that I got to keep tabs on it, right? So that does.
Absolutely. And if you do it quarterly, I mean, you have to maintain that building. So some months, your expenses are much higher than others. Well, if you wait 3 months in order to be able to go over all those expenses and understanding your numbers and all of that, well, personally, it's I prefer doing it monthly, so it's I have a better understanding of what's happening. So
I can agree with you 100%. I'm very much on top of those things for my business and for me personally is even if it's just my personal expenses, I like to
Mhm.
make sure that everything's done on time. I always like to give myself a buffer, that kind of thing. So yeah, I get that. So let's say something happens where you get bad news one month and you're like, okay, if this becomes a trend, we're going to have to do something.
Mhm.
Then what? Do you have to have an exit strategy? Do you have to have multiple exit strategies? And how do you feel about that?
Um, that's a tough one to answer because honestly, I have no plan. I have no exit plan. I have so far nothing. I have to. I think you just reminded me that I have to do something about that. But
Well,
but no,
that's
no. I right now I don't. So.
okay. So, I mean, if I'm the way I see it, because my spouse is an accountant. So the way that he views things is very analytical and it's kind of trained my brain to be that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have people managing those numbers for you and
Mm-hmm.
telling you this is your projection for the next month and this is, the ROI, return on investment, and you get something negative, would it not be their responsibility to say, okay, if this becomes a trend, we're going to have to pivot?
Mm-hmm. Um, for sure, uh, they're the one, it's the first line of defense, if I can say. They know the numbers and they will let me know. But probably the next step for me would be to bring that to my accountant and sit down with him and see how to handle a situation like that. But right now it's not. Yeah, maybe I'm very bad at it, but I don't have any plan, so I will have to figure this one out for sure.
Oh, fair point. I mean, with everything on your plate, though, it's got to be difficult to juggle all those things that, like those people in the circus with the plates spinning on all the sticks. I could see you with like a dozen plates on each arm and just balancing everything. So I imagine that it's easy to have something just fall through the cracks, especially when you have someone doing it for you, right?
Hmm. Yes, for sure,
Wow.
for sure.
Well, fair point on that one. Um, sorry to highlight that. So, what's your plan moving forward then? Do you have any exciting new projects coming up or any exciting places that you're going to be traveling?
Mm. Yes, for sure. For um, in terms of, let's say, on the personal side, I my goal is to be able to be a lot more available for my family. So we are going to travel quite a lot this year because we enjoy it. So going to Morocco and France, and so we have a few things lined up. But from a business point of view, we are right now, me and my partners are putting together a strategy to be able to bring forward our key employees in the company. So to bring them eventually partners in the company, or to give them possibilities of being more active in the management and administration of the company. And again, they're doing things much better than we can do on different elements. So I think we have to take advantage of that, and I think it will be a huge source of motivation for them as well. So we have to bring them up for sure in the company. So we've been working on this plan for about 2 years now. But 2026 will be a year where we'll implement those ideas that we have. So.
Oh, I love hearing that. Sounds like 2026 is going to be a really big year for you and your company and your employees. And I love hearing that you guys want to reward those people for putting in such time and effort and skill and allowing them to grow because a happy worker is a good worker, right?
That's for sure. We have, very dedicated employees that we have with the firm. Some of them have been with us for 18 years. So it's we're very, very lucky to have them. But now we have to let them be part of the, let's say, management of the company. So
Incredible. I think that's really important to keep that in mind and um, give credit where credit is due in more than just acknowledgement.
mm-hmm.
So I applaud you for that. And I think that that also contributes significantly to the success of your business is, employing the right people, putting them in the right seats, as well as rewarding them and letting them be a part of it. The more that they're a part of it, the more passionate they're going to be because, then they've got more skin in the game. And it's so important for our listeners to hear that too, that it's not just about, squirreling away the winnings. It's sharing it, it's being honest and genuine and working with integrity, and rewarding those around us because we can't get ahead, we can't get up that ladder or be as successful as we dream to be
Mm-hmm.
if we're not honest with ourselves and those around us. We build each other up. It's not a lone wolf game. This is a team effort.
Yeah,
So I
you're
definitely
absolutely
applaud you
right.
for that.
Yeah, thank you.
So for all of our listeners that want to reach out to you, I'm going to be sharing your socials and your information on Instagram, x.com, and Facebook. So anyone that wants to reach out to Mathieu, did I pronounce that correctly?
That's perfect.
Then you guys can check it out there online, and I'm sure that his firm would be happy to assist you with any questions that you have.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gabrielle. It's I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I want to thank you so much for joining us and really peeling back those layers and getting into those intimate details. We went a couple different places that I really did not see coming. So thank you for your time and for sharing your story. It means the world to me, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Well, thank you for having me. It was fun. I really, really enjoyed it, and thanks again. And hope to talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Until next time, this is the Powerhouse Podcast. This is the Powerhouse Podcast with Gabrielle Kane. Know someone who should be on the show? Email info@powerhousepodcast.com. Until next time, do one thing differently today.